You've done everything right. You've read the books, maybe even tried therapy. You know what anxious attachment is. Hell, you can spot a red flag a mile away. And yet, you still end up in the same exact relationship. Different person, same argument, same ending. Here's what none of that taught you. The problem isn't who you're picking, it's what's inside of you that's doing the picking. You don't attract who you want. You attract exactly who you are. And before you click off, I know what you're thinking. Look, I've heard of this before. Here's what you haven't heard though. Every piece of content out there is telling you that it's her fault, her attachment style, her trauma, her red flags. And as long as you keep believing in that, you will keep ending up in the same place. Because the one constant in every single one of those situations was you. Not because you're broken, but there's something inside of you that you've never been shown how to truly face. And this video is going to teach you exactly how. Your subconscious has been choosing your partners, and you didn't even know it was happening. So you may ask, okay, hello, like how do we get there? How do I figure this out? How do I solve this? First off, slow down. Before we even get to the solution, we must understand the roots of the problem. So let's start by understanding this. This is the take that nobody in this space will say because it's bad for business. The attachment style content, the red flag checklist, the toxic trait videos. They gave you the buzzword language to diagnose everyone else around you. You know, the certain phrases, the certain call outs. Yet, while you're diagnosing everyone else, you stopped diagnosing yourself. Look, I'm telling you right now, that is not growth. That is just outsourcing the problem. Every man watching has a type. Now, I'm not talking physically, I'm talking emotionally. The same unavailability, the same chaos, the same ending. And he keeps calling it bad luck because the alternative, that he's the common denominator, is too uncomfortable to truly face. The arguments follow the same script. The triggers are identical. Different face, same film. And no communication framework in the world from anybody, you can get it from Johnny Bravo or Austin Powers, will change a film that you haven't acknowledged is playing in the background. Emotional instability attracts chaos. And when that chaos becomes a home, it becomes a safe haven for that love that you're looking for. This isn't a character flaw. There's nobody writing in the sky telling you to do this exact thing. It's wiring. And here's what people in the self-help industry won't tell you because they can't sell their courses to you if they tell you this. Look, it's not going to need a therapist. You don't need that. What you need, and it's going to require this, is honesty. Self-help that only points outwards is just self-avoidance with a better brand deal. Therefore, if the pattern is always the film and never the person, that film has an origin. And that origin is still running quietly in the background of every relationship you enter. And until you locate it, nothing changes. That means our job isn't necessarily done yet, because we must understand this part as well. Here's what people get wrong about trauma. It doesn't have to be one big catastrophic moment, because that's the easy way of dismissing yourself. It could be years of feeling unseen, years of where love was conditional, years of unpredictability so bad that it quietly taught your nervous system that look at this is what closeness looks like. Those emotions, they don't just disappear over time. They don't even take a vacation. They go into the background, into your nervous system, and run their course through there. And once that happens within your relationships, everything is a trigger. even the seemingly little things, and you don't even know why. I want you guys to really lean in and hear what I'm about to say. The man who explodes over small things isn't overreacting to the moment, to the present. In fact, he's finally reacting to something that happened years ago that he was never allowed to react to. The man that goes cold and silent, he's not unbothered. He's been practicing that defense since he was old enough to need it. And what protected him at 9 years old is destroying his relationships at 29 years old. The most dangerous belief that you could hold right now is that you've already moved past it. Because the evidence isn't in what you think, it's in the patterns. And I'm telling you, the patterns never lie. The man who thinks he is over it is usually the one the most controlled by it. But here's where it gets more specific, because it's not just about what happened to you. It's the fact that you specifically designed your entire life without realizing it to make sure you never feel any of it again. The one way that happens is through distraction. Most men are in constant motion. Phone in hand, music in ears, another video, another night out, another distraction. And it feels completely normal because everywhere they look, everyone else is doing the exact same. But strip all of that away and tell me what is left. Usually, on the other side of that wall is something that they have been burying for years and making sure that they never have to look at directly. And that something is running every relationship that they have, without a single person in their life knowing it's happening, including themselves. The internal world is where all the patterns live. The unprocessed grief, the suppressed anger, the fear of being left. And most men have built a lifestyle, unconsciously designed to make sure that they never go there. So they start to wonder as to why every relationship they're in starts to feel suffocating. Why on God's green earth do I keep choosing the same person? How come when I'm getting intimate with a person, instead of seeing it as love and relief, I feel a threatening presence in me? And that's the scariest part. Because you want to know what's the most dangerous version of a man? It isn't the one who is falling apart. It's the one who has absolutely no idea what's driving him. Because at least with the man who knows he's falling apart, he knows that there is something wrong with him. You can't fix what you won't face. And you can't face what you spent years building a life to avoid. And now that you can see all three layers, the pattern, the origin, the avoidance, now here's the framework that addresses all three. Not at the surface, at the root. 3 steps in order. And I need you to understand as to why you must follow the order, because skipping the step 3 is what most people do, and is exactly why nothing changes. Most relationship advice tells you what to say, what not to tolerate, how to set better boundaries. And none of it holds if you haven't addressed what's running underneath. Because you can learn every single tactic in the world, but if your nervous system is still wired to the old pain, it will override every single one, every time. So this framework starts where the problem actually starts. Not with her, not with how you communicate, inside you. 3 steps. And the distance between where you are right now and where step 1 begins is 10 minutes. Now, to usher you in and really give you the blueprint of what to do, we're gonna do one of my favorite things. Let's head to the Miro board. All right, guys, this is the 3-step inner resets, or for right now, what I like to call it, the main event of this video and why you clicked on it. Now, in order to really implement this, you're gonna have to really pay attention to what I'm telling you. Now, the first step sounds too simple, and that is exactly why most men skip it. And that is exactly why they stay stuck. Now, bear with me as I write this out. All right, very simple. Establish stillness. Here's the implementation, and pay attention to how simple this truly is. This is 10 to 15 minutes. Today, no phone, no music, no podcast, no distractions, all right? Sit somewhere quiet and just observe what comes up. Don't solve it. Don't analyze it. Just notice it. That is the entire step right there. You are not meditating. You are not journaling. It's as simple as you are just stopping. Stopping the constant motion. Stopping the need to feel productive and keep moving. Because what surfaces in those 10 minutes of real silence will tell you more about what's driving your relationships than 5 therapy sessions could ever let you know. Let's face it, most men never actually met themselves. They know their opinions, they know what they like, okay, cool, but they have no idea what they actually feel or even where any of it came from. You see the problem right there. This step has to come first because you cannot revisit the root in step 2, which a little bit of foreshadowing, without internal space to hold it. Silence creates that space. Look, then you go back. This is the lowest barrier thing that I will literally ask from you. Trust me, 10 minutes. That is all I'm asking you to do. If you won't do this, I'm literally telling you, nothing else in this framework will work because you've already proven you're still choosing the noise over yourself. So I'm going to write the summary of this point. It's very simple. Just notice, okay? 10 to 15 minutes, no phone, sit, observe what surfaces, don't solve, just notice. The man who can't sit with himself for 10 minutes will keep filling that silence with people who make it louder. Therefore, once you have stillness, once there is an actual internal space, step 2 requires you to actually use it. And this is the step that most men spend their entire adult lives avoiding. Let it surface. All right, perfect. Step 2, revisit the root and let it surface. All right. Once you have stillness, you go back, not to blame anyone, not to relive the story, to finally feel what got buried the first time. Now, this is your moment to think about the earliest time you've felt rejected, abandoned, or that love was something you had to earn. Don't narrate it. Feel where it lives in your body. Right now, as you're thinking about it, look, that location in your body is where it's exactly stored. The second you catch yourself trying to intellectualize and apply logic to it, that was years ago. I mean, it wasn't that bad, or I've dealt with it. Just know that you're not processing, you're defending. You're not defending yourself, you are defending the problem. That's why it keeps persisting. Now, don't hide from it, don't duck it, let it surface. If you get angry, good, that's fine. If you cry, even better. Because I just want you to understand this. That emotion has been waiting years to have permission to exist. And the moment you gave it that permission, here is what most people don't know and what therapy rarely explains. Emotions. Look, when given real space to exist without being judged or suppressed, it will dissolve. You are not reliving the trauma. let's get it clear. You are releasing the charge it still carries. And that charge is what has been running your relationships this whole entire time. The strongest version of you is not the one who never feels it. Trust me, brother. It's the one who finally does. And don't let anyone else outside of this video tell you any differently. That is not weakness. And this is exactly why it's not. Because this is exactly what the man you're trying to become would do. So therefore, you are operating as him. Okay. Perfect. Step 2 is find the root moment. Let the emotion surface. Don't intellectualize. Sit until it dissolves. The emotion you keep running from is the exact thing that has been following you into every relationship that you have ever had. But most people stop right there. They feel it. Maybe they cry. And then they put it back down and they wonder why the pattern comes back. Step 3 is where the actual transformation happens. And it is going to be the most counterintuitive thing that I'm going to say in this entire video. Boom. Step number 3 is rewriting the subconscious narrative. This next part is going to sound wrong, so that's why I need you to stay with me, because it's very important. So it goes like this. First, you need to reach neutrality. That means the memory no longer spikes you upon contact. It doesn't make you angry, defensive, or hollow the second it enters your head. It just exists. That neutral state is the signal you're ready. From that neutral place, I want you to find the single smallest grain of positive meaning in that moment. Now, this thing is not meant to justify what happened or even excuse anyone, because this is what's important. Your subconscious does not care how long ago something happened. It will keep running that same film until you change what that moment means to you. Now, if the story stays loaded with pain and powerlessness, your subconscious keeps recruiting people into your life to keep replaying it. It's going to maintain that level of pain and powerlessness and try to magnify it so that way, with every situation, you are facing the same problem. When this happens, it's not meant to punish you. It is your subconscious thinking it's protecting you by making the situation familiar. And when it's associated with that, it's going to keep going to that. Now, there's possible meanings you can apply. The person who left showed you the exact kind of man you never want to be. Maybe that relationship ending stripped away a version of you that was never actually yours. The situation doesn't change. What changes is the energy you allow it to carry. Now, before you get it confused, this is not toxic positivity. This is not something from the spiritual community. Drink your lattes, guys. Make sure you get some sun in. No, this is not everything happens for a reason. This is neurological. I'm speaking based right now. You are literally changing the signal your brain fires when that memory activates, man. And when that signal changes, that's when what you pull into your life changes as well. Now, let me write this part down so you can get a summary of what step 3 is. All right. Reach neutrality. Find one grain of meaning, not to justify, to change what your subconscious keeps recruiting. Stillness, root, rewrite. That's the sequence, not a quick fix. This is a process that changes the operating system, not just the interface. Most men try to fix the relationships around them without fixing the relationship with themselves. And that is exactly why nothing changes. Now, that inner work is the foundation, but there's a second layer, because I just dropped a brand new framework that nobody in this space is talking about yet. specifically around the mechanics of relationships, not the inner work, the actual structure, how to build one, how to show up in one, and most importantly, how to know whether what you're currently in is actually serving your growth or is just the old pattern in a different face. The link is below. If this video landed, then the framework video is exactly where you need to go next. The inner work changes who you are. The framework changes how you move. You need both. So, you now have the map, stillness to finally meet yourself, the root to understand what's been driving you, the rewrite to change what you keep attracting. And the next step is you just do this one thing. Do step one today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready to, today. The implementation is as simple as can be. 10 minutes, no phone. Sit with yourself. Observe what comes up. That is the entire assignment. The barrier is literally zero. So that means if you don't do it, it doesn't mean that you actually can't. It means that there's still some part of you that is choosing the avoidance over yourself. Now, the inner work, as important as it is only half the equation, because you can change yourself subconsciously and still walk into the world without self-respect, without standards. You still show up small and keep handing over your power whenever somebody asks for it. The subconscious changes what you attract, but your conscious behavior is going to have to match up to it. Otherwise, you just rebuilt the entire engine while your tires are still running flat. Knowing the process changes nothing. Actually doing it changes everything. That's why the next video you must watch is actually last week's video. Nice Guy Syndrome is keeping you last in every single area of your life, because that video answers the question that this one opens. Once you've done the inner work, how do you actually move as a man who respects himself? How do you hold standards consciously when everything in you has been trained to shrink, accommodate, make everyone else comfortable except yourself? The link is below. Because I'm about to say something that nobody in this space will ever say out loud. The problem isn't that you keep attracting the wrong people. The problem is somewhere along the way, you became someone who expects them.